Hey, welcome back, guys. Dragon in the afternoon on that number one car cruising channel, Styling Radio.
Styling Radio.
Yeah, that's where you tuned into. Yeah, and it's Friday, and if you ain't got a job and you don't give a fuck, then you're obviously listening to us and you're not at work. So
you ain't got no job, you ain't got no place to go. Might as well get high.
Yeah, it's too fucking cold to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, motherfuckers will be out, though. They will be out. I just got paid. Got to cash my check.
Man, how you get fired on your day off?
Yeah, how'd you get fired on your day off? That will always be a classic.
Yep.
Yeah. There's so many quotes from that fucking movie, man.
Oh, I love that movie.
That movie. I mean, that and Dazed and Confused and Super Troopers. Yep. And
you got knocked the fuck out.
Yeah. Yeah, the colors.
Yeah.
You know? I still think that's the best part in Super Troopers, when they fucked with them in the beginning. And then they got in their car and left, and they're like, yeah, it's about ready to pop a cap in his ass. And all of a sudden you see the fucking tire smoke, and then they pass him in reverse. And then they come back up, and they're like, license and registration. And the guy's like, I'm tripping out, man.
It's been a while since I saw that. I'm about to go watch it again.
Yeah. Part two, it was crowdfunded. It's all right. I mean, it's all right, but it ain't like the first one, man. The first one, fucking goddamn. So I did see an episode of Letterkenny.
What'd you think of that? It's different.
It's stupid as fuck, but then again,
but it's funny as hell.
Yeah, it is funny. I mean, it's like this dry humor. It's like,
well, they're all just sitting there cutting on each other. It's funny as shit.
Yeah. I mean, they just fucking, and the two dudes are hockey players, and they're like taking off their shirts and all that. And the girl, sister,
they're all that, they think.
Yeah, the sister comes out, put your clothes back on. You know, it remind me of a couple of times in Trailer Park Boys, where he's like, I'm going to take off my pants. If he takes off his white pants, that means he's really going to fight, you know? And it's like,
oh, God.
Why the fuck would you take off your pants? You know? So, yeah, I seen some shit last night. We were on the break. I was doing the Adrenaline show with Paul. And I don't know, somebody come beating on the fucking glass, and we were right in the middle of fucking talking, and he was pissed. We went to the break. I could hear him yelling down the hallway with the goddamn door shut. You don't ever fucking interrupt us while we're following. And I don't even know what the fucking person was trying to tell him.
Oh shit.
So but no, I was playing on my phone, and I was on Trailer Park Boys Facebook page.
Oh yeah.
And I was looking at some reels that they had, and they just recently did a hot sauce. And Burger Boy with the white pants, he was pissed. He was like, "Don't buy them; they're assholes. Like, buy mine." And he got his own signature line.
God.
So yeah, some company did a signature deal with those guys, and they were. It's limited time. So it's like a hot sauce. There's a barbecue sauce. There's a horseradish sauce. I don't know, there's a whole bunch of sauces, you know. So yeah. And then I saw for Valentine's Day. Oh my God! I don't know if you've seen the post that they made. Trailer Park Boys did for Valentine's Day. They're sitting around a table. So. Well, I guess they were doing a podcast or something. And they were just kind of filming, and they were like, "Happy Valentine's Day," blah blah blah, and then. Fucking Rick starts talking about, this guy we went to school with, and he, was jumping from building to building and building. And Julius is like, did I miss something? And Bubbles was dying laughing. He goes, you're talking about Spider-Man. And he goes, I don't know what a Spider-Man is, but don't you remember the guy we went to school with? He would jump from building to building. He'd wear a mask, and it was like, that's fucking, it's like, everybody knew, like, he plays like he's so dumb, but it was so random, and Julius was like, what the fuck did I miss? and it got old Mike, that plays Bubbles. It got him off his guard, man. He was dying laughing and trying to stay in character, and Ricky, man, he was fucking just straight like, you don't remember the guy? He's like, on Valentine's Day, he did this cool thing, man. He swung from one building to another. like you're talking about, I think you're talking about Spider-Man. He goes, I don't even know what that is. It's like the whole WD-30 thing.
Oh, yeah.
You mean WD-40? And he's like, I don't know. Yeah. The can's a different color. Like, it's WD-30. I know what I'm talking about. like, I'll say one thing. That show, for being in Canada, was so up to date with the random bullshit in the States before social media.
Yeah.
It's like, you would almost think that they lived in the States.
Right.
With all the slangs and all the weird shit that they were talking about. I like the character that plays Ricky. He's like, I've tried out for other shows, but they won't hire me unless I play Ricky. And he goes, some days I don't want to be Ricky, And he's like, I'm stuck in this character the rest of my damn life. You know? So you got to remember, they started when they were young.
Yeah.
So, but they did buy that trailer park. That's a whole movie set now. So they can do wherever the fuck they want. Some of the residents that live there, they get free rent.
Hey.
Yeah. But they also help out when they do the show. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So
some of the people that you see in Trailer Park Boys aren't actors or friends of theirs. They really live there. So yeah, I mean, Trailer Park Boys, I mean, it's a good series. Now, on another flip side, I finally got into the season 3 of The Equalizer.
Oh, yeah?
Finally. God damn. I thought I was never going to get out of the second season. So, yeah. I don't know how many episodes are in the third season, so I fucking...
Right.
I know there was like 40-something in the second season. There was like 10 or 12 in the first season. And then I guess it got picked up by a network or something. And fucking... But I'm going to tell you one thing. It's one of the last episodes of season 2. It's like season 2, episode 39 or 40. Man, Queen Latifah beat the fuck out of somebody with her bare hands. And you could tell she cut her hand on set. And that wasn't makeup. I mean, she was making that shit look real. I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
Yep. But I tell you what, she's a hell of a fucking actress, at her age,
Right.
Especially, I mean, she went through training on how to do a lot of those stunts and stuff, but they said the majority of stuff she does on her own. So, she, her and Ice-T, they both become really good actors, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And, just look at New Jack City,
Yep.
And, but nobody would have guessed that fucking Ice Cube would have been that good of an actor.
No, or Ice-T or Ice Cube, any of them.
Yeah. I mean, damn. I mean, they can do a good job, you know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, I like how, in Barbershop, they casted Queen Latifah, and she ran the beauty salon. And she come to Ice Cube and was like, man, we ought to do a spinoff of, Beauty Shop. And he was like, yeah, I don't know. And then he read a script, and he's like, she's perfect for it. And so they kind of played back and forth off each other. So, and that's what makes it cool about some of these movies. You know what I'm saying? Some of these fucking...
And the Friday movies were good.
Oh, yeah, the Friday movies. I mean, like we said earlier, in the earlier broadcast, like, it doesn't matter which Friday it is. They've got a new Friday coming out.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
And I don't know when... I think it's done, but I don't know when they're going to release it. So... But the only body that... Apparently everybody's in it except Debo, because he passed away. So... But yeah, the guys that played the Mexicans across the street with the lowrider, man, they couldn't pick better fucking people.
I know.
I mean, that dude was funny as fuck. Especially when he's talking about his dog.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of that shit they ad-libbed, you know?
Right.
So yeah, it's crazy because those kind of movies, and even Talladega Nights, and there's so many good movies, and then you look at the new movies and you're like, yeah, they're okay, you know, like, and then some of them they're just trying way too fucking hard, you know, but Hollywood's different now. I mean, all the streaming apps, you know, like Netflix, they're putting, I mean, look at Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai was a deal that went through YouTube TV.
Right.
And then YouTube TV folded and they sold it to... Now, if I'm not mistaken, Hulu had it for one season and then Netflix bought it. And then it drastically changed.
Right.
So, but yeah, they're on their last season now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's done after this. And then they're supposed to do some spinoffs.
Yeah, I figured that.
You know, so yeah, I mean, I do like the first couple seasons a lot. I mean, you know, back when it was Cobra Kai, because it showed how when you grow up, that person, Daniel LaRusso turned into an asshole. You know?
Turned into a douche.
You know, Johnny was just trying to make it, you know?
Yep.
So, I mean, and that's real. That touches home to everybody because everybody fucking went to school with somebody like that. So, you know, it's definitely an A in my book. So,
Johnny drinking them fucking Coors Banquets.
Oh, yeah. Well, see, Coors is a big West Coast deal. I mean, you know, west of the Rockies, you know, or west. Well, the agreement with Anheuser-Busch, anything west of the Mississippi, but anything east of the Mississippi belongs to Anheuser-Busch.
Right.
And that's how we come up with Smokey and the Bandit, them bootleg and Coors beer. So there was a legit deal that if you were selling Anheuser-Busch across, you know, east of the Mississippi, Anheuser-Busch would send thugs in there and fucking bust them all up.
Oh, Coors was actually illegal.
Yeah, to sell across the fucking river.
If you left Texas with it.
Yeah, that was something else with it. Yeah.
It was still illegal in the 80s.
Yeah. Yeah, they had weird laws about that shit.
Because I remember when we went there when I was in 86 when we went there. My dad had to bring back like 4 cases in the trunk.
Well, I tell you what, when I was growing up, I mean, of course, you know, we all grew up with Anheuser-Busch. My dad liked Coors. Because he went to the West Coast, and then if he can get his hands on Coors, man, they really like Coors. But I think it's one of those things because it was taboo to drink it because you're in Anheuser-Busch territory.
Yeah.
I remember my mom drinking Pabst Blue Ribbon. Holy fuck. This is when I was
That's all my dad drank.
When I was a little kid.
All the Coors he bought back was for somebody else.
Oh, yeah.
That's all he drank was fucking Pabst Blue Ribbon.
I remember growing up, we had a neighbor, and everybody, when you were younger, you always had that older neighbor in the neighborhood, the older man, and it was cool as shit. You know, he was always trying to keep the kids out of trouble, or I'll pay you to mow my yard, and there was a guy that lived on the street behind us. His name was Monk. I think his last name was Monk or something like that. Really nice old guy, you know.
Right.
He had a riding lawnmower. He'd let us ride the lawnmower. I mean, he's just a retired guy. He didn't give a fuck, you know. His wife was still working. She was a school teacher, and he had a big field, and we'd play in it. And he goes, well, you guys can play in the field only if you help me garden. And we had to pull weeds and stuff. And then we'd play baseball, football, whatever in his field. He didn't give a fuck. But he would drink Hamm's beer.
Oh, Hamm's and Falstaff. Oh, I remember those.
And I remember, I was probably 10, maybe 11. I was probably 10. And he always had soda, and he'd give soda to the kids And
It was probably a generic soda, wasn't it?
no, it was the good soda.
Cool.
Yeah, Pepsi and Mountain Dew. And first time I ever had cherry Coke was over at his house.
Oh, sweet.
And so just the thing was, him and his wife, their kids had moved out, and they
Had
never
grown up, moved on, yeah.
and they never had kids.
Mm.
So the husband and wife really enjoyed the neighborhood kids coming over, right?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, my parents were like, "Who's this fucking monk guy? Is he a fucking child molester?" And then they talked to him, and he's just the cool neighborhood guy, the old guy to keep kids out of trouble, right?
Right.
Well, I remember me and my buddy was over there, and he was going to give us like $5 each for cutting the grass, right?
Right.
And he had a ton of these like little koozie things that you put the soda in or beer in. And he fucked up and handed me a beer, and it was already open, but he had opened it for himself.
Mm-hmm.
So he opened up 2 sodas and his beer, and he accidentally handed me the beer, and I took a big fucking drink of it, and I'm like, wow. And he took a drink of what he thought was his beer, and it was soda, and he goes, oh no. He's like, we're going to have a talk right now. Don't you tell your parents what I gave you. He goes, I'll give you an extra soda. So I don't think I mean, it was a mistake, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
but man, he felt bad. He probably fucking lost some sleep for a couple of nights, man. Did that kid go tell his parents that I gave him a beer?
Shit.
And yeah, 'cause I remember taking a drink out. I'm like, man, this tastes like piss water. Like, and
People think this shit's good?
yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, how the fuck you
Yeah.
drink this all day?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, he'd have a hammock out there.
Oh, yeah.
And so he would do his yard work in the morning, and then here we come fucking busting through in the afternoon, about 30 of us kids, right? And he'd sit in his hammock, and when a fight broke out, here he come walking. Well, we got to stop fighting. He goes, I'll let you kids play here with the understanding you guys wouldn't fist fight. If you're going to do that, take it down the block. Don't do it in my yard. I don't want your parents over here bitching at me.
Yeah.
You know, so he was just that cool-ass neighbor, you know?
Yep.
So on that note, guys, you know, it's Friday. Reminisce about that cool-ass person in your neighborhood, or that house mom that would let you come over and drink and not let you leave, you know? So, because it's Friday. So on that note, we're going right back into music. This is Styling Radio, dragging in the afternoon.